And howdy, everyone. Welcome to the Word. Today we are going to be reading the Word. This morning, reading with us, we're going to have myself, Jonathan, Colby, Landon, Lynn, and Matayahu. All right, today we are starting in 1 Samuel chapter 10, going through 11, 12, 13, and then 14. And that, who do we got? Howdy, Alvina. Glad you made it. It's a beautiful day. How is everyone today?
Good.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to be hot and humid here.
Yeah, it's hot out here.
Let's not, no, we're not starting that again. Okay, let's go ahead and pray in. Praying. We're going to do some praying. So, let us know what you need. Got howdy, GR. Okay, here we go. Good morning, Father. Thank you very much for this beautiful day that we're having, and we thank you for the heat to, well, keep us warm. And we're not, at least we're not buried in snow and ice, and we're grateful for that. And thank you for that. This morning, we would ask for Amy's health, that you touch her and heal her and comfort her and her household. And we also ask for protection over Hope and her situation, and protect not only her, but her neighbors as well and their family. And we would also ask you to call Hope to full repentance as well as her household. And we thank you for that. Please put your spirit upon us. We ask for you to put your spirit of knowledge and understanding on us, and that we would share it with one another so that we are better vessels and witnesses to you in the world for those that you're calling. And we thank you for that. In Jesus, Yeshua's name, amen. All right, let's get this party rolling. Everybody take lots of notes. This is going to be heavy on Revelations today. So, 1 Samuel chapter 10.
I will start. Then Samuel took a flash of oil and poured it onto his head and kissed him and said, "Has not the Lord anointed you to be prince over his people Israel? And you shall reign over the people of the Lord, and you will save them from the hand of their surrounding enemies. And this shall be the sight to you that the Lord has anointed you to be prince over his heritage. When you depart from me today, you will meet two men by Rachel's tomb in the territory of Benjamin at Zelzah. And they will say to you, the donkeys that you went to seek are found. And now your father has ceased to care about the donkeys, and his anxiety about you, saying, and is anxious about you, saying, what shall I do about my son? Then you shall go on from there farther and come to the oak of Tabor. 3 men going up to God at Bethel will meet you there, one carrying 3 young goats, another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a skin of wine. And they will greet you and give you 2 loaves of bread, which you shall accept from their hand. After that you shall come to Gilbeath Elohim, where there is a garrison of Philistines. And there, as soon as you come to the city, you will meet a group of prophets coming down from the high place with harp, tambourine, flute, and lyre before them, prophesying. Then the Spirit of the Lord will rush upon you, and you will prophesy with them and be turned into another man. Now when these signs meet you, do what your hand finds to do, for God is with you. Then go down before me at Gilgal, and behold, I am coming down to you to offer burnt offerings and to sacrifice peace offerings. 7 days you shall wait, until I come to you and show you what you shall do." Then he turned his back to leave Samuel. God gave him another heart, and all these signs came to pass that day. When they came to Gibbeth, behold, a group of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God rushed upon him, and he prophesied among them. And when all who knew him previously saw how he prophesied with the prophets, the people said to one another, "What has come over the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets?" And a man of the place answered, "And who is their father?" Therefore it became a proverb, "Is Saul also among the prophets?" When he had finished prophesying, he came to a high place. Saul's uncle said to him and to his servant, "Where did you go?" And he said, "To seek the donkeys. And when we saw they were not to be found, we went to Samuel." And Saul's uncle said, "Please tell me what Samuel said to you." And Saul said to his uncle, "He told us plainly that the donkeys had been found. But about the matter of the kingdom of which Samuel had spoken, he did not tell him anything." Now Samuel called the people together to the Lord at Mizpah, and he said to the people of Israel, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and I delivered you from the hand of the Egyptians and from the hand of all the kingdoms that were oppressing you. But today you have rejected God, who saves you from your calamities and your distresses. And you have said to him, 'Set a king over us.' Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands." Then Samuel brought all the tribes of Israel near, and the tribe of Benjamin was taken by lot. He brought the tribe of Benjamin near by its clans, and the clan of the Matrites was taken by lot. And Saul the son of Kish was taken by lot. But they sought him, he could not be found. But when they saw him, they could not be found. So they inquired again of the Lord, "Is there a man still to come?" But the Lord said, "Behold, he has hidden himself among the baggage." Then they ran and took him from there. And when he stood among the people, he was taller than any of them, from his shoulders upward. And Samuel said to all the people, "Do you see him, whom the Lord has chosen? There is none like him among all the people." And all the people shouted, "Long live the king." Then Samuel told the people the rights and duties of kingship, and he wrote them in a book and laid it up before the Lord. Then Samuel sent all the people away, each one to his home. Saul also went to his home in Gibbeth, and with him went men of valor whose hearts God had touched. But some worthless fellows said, "How can this man save us?" And they despised him and brought him no present. But he held his peace.
Now Nahash the Ammonite went up and besieged Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said to Nahash, "Make a treaty with us, and we will serve you." But Nahash the Ammonite said to them, "On this condition I will make a treaty with you, that I gouge out all your right eyes, and thus bring disgrace on all Israel." The elders of Jabesh said to him, "Give us 7 days respite, that we may send messengers through all the territory of Israel. Then, if there is no one to save us, we will give ourselves up to you." When the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul, they reported the matter in the ears of the people, and all the people wept aloud. Now behold, Saul was coming from the field behind the oxen. And Saul said, "What is wrong with the people, that they are weeping?" So they told him the news of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God rushed upon Saul when he heard these words, and his anger was greatly kindled. He took a yoke of oxen and cut them into pieces and sent them throughout all the territory of Israel by the hand of the messengers, saying, "Whoever does not come out after Saul and Samuel, so shall it be done to his oxen." Then the dread of the Lord fell upon the people, and they came out as one man. When he mustered them at Bezek, the people of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. And they said to the messengers who had come, "Thus shall you say when the men of Jabesh Gilead thus shall you say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow by the time the sun is hot, you shall have salvation. When the messengers came and told the men of Jabesh, they were glad. Therefore the men of Jabesh said, tomorrow we will give ourselves up to you, and you may do to us whatever seems good to you. And the next day Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they and they came into the midst of the camp in the morning watch. And they came into the midst of the camp in the morning watch and struck down the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And those who survived were scattered, so that no 2 of them were left together. Then the people said to Samuel, who is it that said, shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men, that we may put them to death. But Saul said, not a man shall be put to death this day, for today the Lord has worked salvation in Israel. Then Samuel said to the people, come, let us go to Gilead, and there renew the kingdom. So all the people went, Gilgal. Come, let us go to Gilgal, and there renew the kingdom. So all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Saul king before the Lord in Gilgal. There they sacrificed peace offerings before the Lord, and there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced greatly.
Okay, chapter 12. And Samuel said unto all Israel, behold, I have hearkened unto your voice in all that ye said unto me, and have made a king over you. And now, behold, the king walketh before you, and I am old and gray-headed. And behold, my sons are with you, and I have walked before you from my childhood unto this day. Behold, here am I, witness against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose ass have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or of whom hand have I received any bribe to blind my eyes therewith? And I will restore it to you. And they said, thou hast not defrauded us, nor oppressed us, neither hast thou taken aught of any man's hand. And he said unto them, the Lord is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that ye have not found aught in my hand. And they answered, he is witness. And Samuel said unto the people, it is the Lord that advanced Moses and Aaron, and that brought your fathers up to the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord of all righteous acts of the Lord, which he did to you and to your fathers. When Jacob was come into Egypt, and your fathers cried unto the Lord, then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, which brought forth your fathers out of Egypt, and made them dwell in this place. And when they forgot the Lord their God, he sold them into the hands of Sisera, captain of the host of Hazor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. And they cried unto the Lord and said, we have sinned, because we have forsaken the Lord and have served Baalim and Ashtaroth. But now deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, and we will serve thee. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal and Badan and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hands of your enemies on every side, and ye dwelled safe. And when ye saw that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, came against you, ye said unto me, nay, but a king shall reign over us, when the Lord your God was your king. Now therefore, behold the king whom ye have chosen, and whom ye have desired. And behold, the Lord hath set a king over you. If ye will fear the Lord and serve him and obey his voice and not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then both ye and also the king that reigneth over you continue following the Lord your God. But if you will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then shall the hand of the Lord be against you, as it was against your fathers. Now therefore stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Is it not what harvest today? I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that ye may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which ye have done in the sight of the Lord, asking you a king. So Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said unto Samuel, pray for thy servants unto the Lord thy God, that we die not, for we have added unto all our sins this evil, to ask us a king. And Samuel said to the people, Fear not, ye have done all this wickedness. Yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. And turn ye not aside, for then should ye go after vain things, which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. For the Lord will not forsake his people, his great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make you his people. Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you, but I will teach you the good and the right way. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great things he has done for you. But if ye shall do wickedly, ye shall be consumed, both ye and your king.
Chapter 13. Saul was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 42 years over Israel. Now Saul chose for himself 3,000 men of Israel, of which 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in the hill country of Bethel, while 1,000 were with Jonathan at Gibeah of Benjamin. But he sent away the rest of the people, each to his tent. Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Geba, and the Philistines heard of it. Then Saul blew the trumpet throughout the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. All Israel heard the news that Saul had smitten the garrison of the Philistines, and also that Israel had become odious to the Philistines. The people were then summoned to Saul at Gilgal. Now the Philistines assembled to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen. The people like the sand of which is on the seashore in abundance. And they came up and camped in Michmash, east of Bethaven, when the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were hard pressed. Then the people hid themselves in caves, in thickets, in cliffs, in cellars, and in pits. Also some of the Hebrews crossed the Jordan into the land of Gad and Gilead. But as for Saul, he was still in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. Now he waited 7 days according to the appointed time set by Samuel, but Samuel did not come to Gilgal, and the people were scattering from him. So Saul said, Bring to me the burnt offering and the peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering. As soon as he finished offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came. And Saul went out to meet him and greet him. But Samuel said, What have you done? And Saul said, Because I saw that the people were scattering from me, and that you did not come within the appointed days, and the Philistines were assembled at Michmash. Therefore I said, Now the Philistines will come down against me at Gilgal, and I have not asked for the favor of the Lord. So I forced myself and offered the burnt offering. Samuel said to Saul, You have acted foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God, which he commanded you. For now the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever, but now your kingdom shall not endure. The Lord has sought out for himself a man after his own heart, and the Lord appointed him as ruler over his people, because you have not kept what the Lord had commanded you. Then Samuel arose and went up to Gilgal, to Gibeah of Benjamin, and Saul numbered the people who were present with him about 600 men. And Saul and his son Jonathan and the people were present with them were staying in Gibeah of Benjamin, while the Philistines camped at Michmash. And the raiders came from the camp of the Philistines in 3 companies. One company turned toward Ophrah to the land of Shul, and another company turned toward Beth Horon, and another company turned toward the border which overlooks the valley of Zibeon toward the wilderness. Now no blacksmith could be found in all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, Otherwise the Hebrews will make swords or spears. So all Israel went down to the Philistines, each to sharpen his plowshare, his mattock, his axe, and his hoe. The charge was 2/3 of a shekel for the plowshares, the mattocks, the forks, the axes, and to fix the hoes. So it came about on that day of battle that neither sword nor spear was found in the hands of the people who were with Saul and Jonathan, but they were found with Saul and his son Jonathan. And the garrison of the Philistines went out to pass of Michmash.
1 Samuel chapter 14. Now it came to pass upon a day that Jonathan the son of Saul said unto the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree which is in Migron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the Lord's priest in Shiloh, wearing an ephod. And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on the one side and a sharp rock on the other. And the name of the one was Bozez, and the name of the other was Seneh. The forefront of the one was situate northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us. For there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. And his armor bearer said unto him, Do all that is in thine heart, turn thee, behold, I am with thee according to thy heart. Then said Jonathan, Behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. And if they say thus unto us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and will not go up unto them. But if they say thus, Come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. And the Philistines said, Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they had hid themselves. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, Come up to us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said to his armor bearer, Come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. Verse 13. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hands and upon his feet, and his armor bearer after him. And they fell before Jonathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men within, as it were, an half acre of land, which a yoke of oxen might plow. And there was trembling in the host, in the field, and among the people, the garrison and the spoilers. They also trembled, and the earth quaked. So it was a very great trembling. And the watchmen of Saul and Gibeah and Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away, and they went on beating down one another. Then said Saul unto the people that were with him, Number now, and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor bearer were not there. And Saul said unto Ahiah, Bring hither the ark of God, for the ark of God was at that time with the children of Israel. And it came to pass, while Saul talked unto the priest, that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Saul said unto the priest, Withdraw thine hand. And Saul and all the people that were with him assembled themselves, and they came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great discomfiture. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned to be with the Israelites that were with Saul and Jonathan. Likewise, all the men of Israel which had hid themselves in Mount Ephraim, when they heard that the Philistines fled, even they also followed hard after them in the battle. So the Lord saved Israel that day, and the battle passed over unto Bethaven. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on mine enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come into the wood, behold, the honey dropped. But no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in an honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered one of the people and said, Thy father straitly charged the people with an oath, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food this day. And the people were faint Then said Jonathan, my father hath troubled the land. See, I pray you, how mine eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more, if haply the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies which they found. For had there not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines, and they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Aijalon, and the people were very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil, and took sheep, and oxen, and calves, and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood. And they told Saul, saying, Behold, the people sin against the Lord, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, Ye have transgressed. Roll a great stone unto me this day. Verse 34. And Saul said, Disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, Bring me hither every man his ox and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and eat, and sin not against the Lord in eating with the blood. And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. And Saul built an altar unto the Lord. The same was the first altar that he built unto the Lord. And Saul said, Let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, Do whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Then said the priest, Let us draw near hither unto God. And Saul asked counsel of God, Shall I go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hand of Israel? But he answered him not that day. And Saul said, Draw ye near hither, all the chief of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. But there was not a man among the people that answered him. Then said he unto all Israel, Be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, Do what seemeth good unto thee. Therefore Saul said unto the Lord God of Israel, Give a perfect lot. And Saul and Jonathan were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul cast lots between me and Jonathan my son, and Jonathan was taken. Then Saul said to Jonathan, Tell me what thou hast done. And Jonathan told him and said, I did but taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die. And Saul answered, God do so and more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan. 45. And the people said unto Saul, Shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid, as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. Then Saul went up and following the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom, and against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines, and whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. And he gathered an host, and smote the Amalekites, and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan, and Ishui, and Malchishua, and the names of his two daughters were these: the name of the firstborn Merab, and the name of the younger Michal. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. And the name of the captain of his host was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. And there was sore war against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And when Saul saw any strong man or any valiant man, he took him unto him. Well, I told you this would be jam-packed with information. So let's go back to chapter 10. And I seem to have written a book of notes on this one. Anybody else? I've got verse 1. The way that Samuel describes Saul's position: to be a captain he hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance. Israel is his inheritance, right?
Hmm.
Very interesting, no? Yes.
Yep.
Now 5.
Uh,
Yes.
So the one thing that kind of just, if you look at the entire, just the context, in the last 5 chapters that we read, when you see like how Samuel describes Saul as he's anointing him, and then you see this, how quickly things fall apart for Saul. It just makes me wonder: is this something that God gave Samuel any insight, or God just said, Samuel, this is how you're going to anoint him, and at that point, Saul just kind of felt, things fell apart because Saul immediately started going in a different direction.
I think it's because Saul was chosen as a king of what the people wanted in a king. So it wasn't, they weren't seeking, a king based upon what our father wanted.
Yeah.
They were seeking a king based upon the worldly image of how a king should appear. I mean, look how many times it says he's head and shoulders taller than all of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then while we were reading this too, I was kind of thinking, interesting that he's this big, tall dude, and then he comes up against Goliath, a big, tall dude, and he wimps out.
Hmm.
But we haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting observation. Verse 5, when you were reading, Colby says, in the King James it says Hill of God, but you read off a name that had translated there.
The Elohim.
Okay. I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, mine says it too, but you ESV, I got ESV.
Yeah.
Yebeth Elohim means hill of God. But it just gives it a different translation.
Right.
It's got a footnote or whatever you call them.
Now, how is this? All these people say, "Oh, the Old Testament doesn't have anything the New Testament has." We've got something new and special. Verse 6: the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he was changed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
And 9.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that who has not been changed when the Spirit of the Lord comes upon them? When the Spirit of our Father is put upon them. Okay, who has been changed? No. Huh. All right. Anyways.
Go outside.
Verse 8 tells them to wait how long?
7 days.
7 days, 1 week. I don't know. I just found that interesting. You just wait a week. And it's interesting. Here he waits.
Yeah, I find it interesting that they didn't want God for their king; they wanted a man, and that was the whole thing I got out of this chapter.
Yeah, and I got that down too. Verses 18 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have rejected God, who Himself saved you.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that was nice and everything, but we really have a king.
Is it any different today?
It's actually not.
Who are you going to vote for?
I mean, the parallel to today, I mean, he's telling you, but if you just continue to serve the Lord, then I'm going to keep you in good standing with me, even if you have a king and you did make a mistake. That's grace. I mean, but then I see America and I see how we threw God out and how even our leaders became corrupt. And yeah.
Verse 22, right? So this dude that's chosen as king, who has been changed by the Spirit of God coming upon him. Verse 22, where is he?
Hidden among the baggage.
Right here.
So one question I have, going back to verse 9, it says, when he turned his back to leave Samuel, God gave him another heart. Any thoughts on what that?
Yeah. What other heart?
Yep. Well, he, I don't know, maybe he was a little more gung-ho before that, or a little, what's that saying? Headstrong?
Yeah.
Before that. And it changes him to the point where he realizes, man, I've got this huge burden on my shoulders. And now he's hiding among the baggage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to reason this out.
Yeah.
All right. I did find that interesting, though. It's been a lot of bags for such a tall fella.
Right. That's true. Such a big guy.
Another thing that kind of stands out to me is throughout this, and again, we can parallel this to today as well. It's like just naturally we want someone to step in and be our leader. We want someone to lead. And so Israel is begging for a leader this whole time. And, then it's like, okay, well, here's your leader. Here's your person. And here's all the mess that comes along with it. It's you rely on one person, that person's going to fail. That person's not going to be, they're not going to be the one that, leads the way, God wants us to lead our lives. You can look at that however you want. You look at it, just an example. We look at today, people, vote for who they think is going to be the best leader. But at the end of the day, we're going to end up in this mess because we're leaning on one person, not on God.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Wait, you said that perfectly.
Yeah.
The only thing I have left here is the last verse. And that, again, it's in the King James, it's translated that the children of Belial. Again, so I mean, we keep having the sons of Belial, the children of Belial, keep making this appearance, and
The worthless fellow.
yeah, it's interesting
Right.
to me.
Right. Sounds like whoever did the translation was not a fan of the sons of Belial.
Right?
Oh, this restored version calls them the sons of worthlessness.
Right. Well, that is what Belial means.
Is that what it means? Okay.
One of the translations. Let's go to 11. What in the world? Okay, I don't have anything until verse 2. No, really far down in the chapter.
We have something in 7.
Okay, verse 2.
Okay, verse 2. Let's go to verse 2.
Nahash the Ammonite, so an Ammonite, right? I'll make a covenant with you if you thrust out all your right eyeball and hit for reproach upon Israel.
Yeah, that's
That's exactly what in the world, right?
Some Illuminati symbolism right there.
Right.
But it also, I mean, it goes into other other mystic religions from around the world. Like some of the Norse, the main Norse god has one eye.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't exactly know what all the symbolism is, but we do know that it's quite common in Hollywood and in other things that it's like I don't know. There's a spiritual thing to it. And then you can't find it in the Bible, but there's been some stories of when Michael swung a sword at the devil, he wounded his eye. I don't know if it's biblical. I'm just saying I've heard people mention that before. So there's a spiritual significance to removing one's eye that has nothing to do with the
Right.
advancement of the kingdom of the Father.
Well, has nothing to do with the kingdom of the Father, but also making a treaty with the Ammonites. Right? These people that worship other gods. Or a covenant. Is that how it's worded? A covenant? Covenant, agreement, a contract, a coven. Right? Enter the omen music now. Okay, and then again, verse 6, Spirit of God came upon Saul, and he got angry. So he's still at a point now where he's got righteous anger flowing through him. I don't know. I just found that interesting. Okay, I'm sorry. Now we're at verse 7.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So my observation is, what is it with the cutting up of everything? They cut up the concubine, and now he cut up the oxen, and they're sending the pieces all over. What is that? I mean, that's just so like ew. But then they send the body pieces all over.
Right.
Like today's modern mafia, you wake up with a horse head in your bed or something like that. It's like, what is that? I mean,
right. That's the way they did stuff. It's interesting that it's a yoke of oxen. And I was thinking before we read this, I was thinking earlier, yokes. It's a diminishing science or art of being able to make a yoke properly. A yoke has to be carved
to fit the animal.
To fit the team of animals. You can't take just a yoke and put it on a couple of different oxen. It has to be for the oxen that they're made for. So in this, I'm seeing that when if he's he could have chopped up one and made it 12 pieces, but now you have a worthless partner. I don't know. So there's something in that.
How many are in a yoke of oxen? Is it 2 or 4? It's 2, right?
Yep, it's 2. They're by pairs. Now you can couple the yokes, though. You can link the yokes up.
Right.
A team of oxen, however many. Just fascinating. Fascinating. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool there. I don't have anything until 11. If you got anything in between 7 and 11. 7, 11. No? Okay, 11. He's doing this. He goes charging in there, right? He still has the Spirit of God upon him. The Spirit of Yah is still upon him. He goes in through the Ammonites until it gets hot. And then the ones that were left ran away. No 2 of them were left together.
I thought it was interesting that it numbered Israel and Judah separate, before they actually officially split.
I was thinking about that myself. Now, is that just because of the sheer size of Judah? because they're so massive.
I don't know.
Because I mean, on their own, they're putting forth a tenth of what the other ones were, right? Isn't it like 300,000? Where's that number at?
Mm-hmm.
8.
Yeah, it's 300,000.
Yeah, so 300,000, and then they have 30, a tenth. Ooh, a tenth. They're the 10th part of what they are. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know we're all going because Gwen's not here.
Right?
That means
Gwen,
you're
with you.
okay. I don't have anything else for 11. Anybody else have something?
Mm-mm.
So they were going to kill whoever they caught at the end of the day. Then Saul said, "No, we're not going to do that." Is that my understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time it mentions them, I just think of all the keyboard warriors today in politics. That's what came to mind. But yeah. Saul was like, nah, this one's for Israel. Let them have their opinion.
All right. 1 Samuel chapter 12. I kind of interpreted verse 3 as Samuel saying, "Speak now or forever hold your peace."
Yep. I think the same thing.
And he's basically saying, if you got something against me, say it. And then calls that they're being witnessed by Yah, by the Lord, to saying, no, you don't owe us anything at all whatsoever. I just noted that verses 7 through 12, it's like a historic summary of what led them to get Saul as king.
Yeah.
You know, ending off with what was it, the
In 12.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Kind of finishes out, no, but a king shall reign over us. And the Lord your God was your king.
Man, you know, I really pray he keeps, you know, all of us here and from making that mistake. I mean, we can see that being done on a national scale, multiple places, not just the USA. I mean, there's other places where they say, hey, look, we have a national deliverer.
Yep.
Yes, but what are they delivering you to?
Key question. Oh, you don't have a mustache cup?
That is a funny cup.
Yep, that is. Okay. Let's see. 19.
No.
Yeah.
Geez.
22.
Right? Verse 19. They confessed their national sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
wait,
They got scared. Wait.
come back.
Go back to.
They didn't do that until all of a sudden they get like thunder and rain and
Right.
everything.
Yep.
Like we're getting.
Boom, boom, boom. Earthquake, shaky shake,
Right.
bake and bake. Right? Was there fire too?
Thunder and rain. Well, if there's lightning, there's probably thunder. Or there's probably a little bit of fire. Now.
Mm.
But 20, there's your key right there, 20. Yet
Yep.
turn not aside from following the Lord. I know you messed up. You did this wickedness by wanting a king, but serve the Lord with all your heart.
Yep. Well, I found it interesting in 19 that they confessed their sins. That we have added unto all our sins this evil to ask us.
Added to our sins.
So I find it interesting if you look at the order in which you kind of go 19 through 22. 22, the last part of it, for the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make you a people for himself.
Yeah.
And you think about how people kind of twist the New Testament a lot of times to say, I'm under grace, so I can live however I want. When they forget that first, the law, follow the law, but at the end of the day, the Lord is pleased by that he made you. He's pleased to make his people and to have his people. But first, you need to follow the law. You need to understand your place. But the Lord loves you in case if mistakes are made. He wants his people to flourish. And I see kind of just a parallel of just that right there into how people twist the New Testament and kind of forget about our part in all of this.
Right. And that it even comes a little bit later. Right? One of the biggest words in Scripture, verse 25. But, starting verse 24, only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart. Consider how great things he hath done for you. But if you shall still do wickedly, you shall be consumed, both you and your king.
Well, and you notice in verse 10, one of the things they were doing is it says they were serving Balaam and Ashtaroth.
Right.
Ashtaroth's Easter. You can
Yeah.
pretty well know that Christmas is Balaam.
Right. Yep. Just a different title. Same dude, though.
Yeah.
Yep. That. I have it on good authority. I've destroyed the holidays for someone.
What?
But, secular holidays, that is. I'm not taking pity on you. You can celebrate the feasts with us, though, if you want. Okay. Chapter 13.
Before you go there, I was just
What? Oh, man. Okay, come on. Bring it.
as where it was saying, do not be afraid. You have done all this evil, yet do not turn aside from following the Lord. Wait, that's not the verse. The verse about them sinning against him for asking for a king.
10.
And I was thinking, I think like it's probably like a year ago, and I was talking with Miss Green on a Bible study, and I said something about how God, since the fall from the garden, and we keep doing these things, it's like He's holding all this together with heavenly duct tape. And I'm thinking, just because I try to imagine what the plan, and I know I'm not gonna have the answer here, but what the plan must have been, or what God was working towards, but then He still uses Saul. He still works to the good of those that love Him. It's just interesting. That's all. I just wonder how different would the story have went if the people would have sought after the Father in the first, just in this instant. It changes the history of everything, but I don't know.
Okay, that's a cricket.
Right?
Chapter 13 of 1 Samuel. That. I don't have anything. I noticed in verse 1, I didn't write it down though. Right? Saul reigned 1 year, and when he had reigned 2 years over Israel, then it says that's when he chooses this company of men. And then it goes down. This time he doesn't do what he's told to wait for Samuel.
Yep.
And in verse 13, he loses the kingdom. Look at it. He hasn't even been king for 2 chapters.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's his first term.
right?
Didn't it say he reigned 42 years?
40 in
Not
2 years?
42
Well,
years.
Mine says 42.
In what verse?
1.
1.
I thought that's what yours said that we read because mine says 2.
Yeah. Verse.
No.
That's weird. Yeah, the King James says 2, but the New American Standard says 42.
Mine says, 2 years over.
Mine says 2.
Oh my goodness.
You got to protect that copyright somehow.
Yeah.
I guess.
Hey, Matt, in verse 4, it says, mine says, and also that Israel had become a stench to the Philistines. What is your version say?
On what? Verse 4?
Yeah. Mine says
It says,
stench.
all of Israel heard the news of Saul had smitten the garrison of Philistines. Under 13?
No. Under 13, verse 4. Didn't you read, you read 13, right?
Yeah, I don't.
All right, so.
Odious. Odious to the Philistines.
Odious. I got it.
It means hateful.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, it's a good word,
Yeah, King James says an abomination.
right?
ESV says stench.
Hmm.
Stench isn't nearly as strong as abomination.
Somebody doing translations read that. I think it says odorous.
That's funny.
All right. So, verse 14, right after that, he's going to be replaced with someone seeking after his own heart, seeking after God's own heart, after Yah's own heart.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2 years in, and David's already being looked at for here.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You put your faith in one man, and God, that's what's going to happen.
Yep. What are you doing? Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have anything until 20, verse 20.
Yeah, I've got 19 through 22. I was just there was no blacksmith found in the land of Israel.
Yep.
I guess I was just trying to understand that, and then you go, I mean, when the day of battle, there was not a sword or spear for anyone except for Saul and Jonathan.
And that, in what is it, verse 20, basically improvised weapons.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we used to study. I mean, it's if you go to the martial science, the science behind where all martial arts was derived from, it all goes back to farm implements and implements that they used to use. Yeah.
Pitchforks and
When you're raising an army in the spring, you don't have 4 years to train somebody to become a black belt.
Mhm.
Say, what do you do? Well, I'm a farmer and I use a hoe all day and a shovel all day. Oh, okay. Well, here you go. Here is a poleaxe. Here is a spear. Use the exact same movements that you've been using, except now you want to hit a person right here, right where that armor doesn't meet, or whatever weapon you're being trained on. Hey, look at that. You just saved years and years and years of training.
wax on, wax off.
So the one thing I'm just curious about this, I mean, did Israel not ever have blacksmiths? Was it just not something they had, and they always relied on their foreign neighbors to do that work for them?
Look what they're doing today.
Well, obviously the Philistines didn't want them to arm themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I mean, again, it just seems like in parallel to what's going on today, we rely on others for
Yep.
initial needs. I mean, kind of all around the place.
Yeah.
And
All,
from the forces perspective- no, go ahead.
just all aspects of society. We rely on other people for everything.
Yeah.
From creation of our from making of our food to making our transportation to building our houses to making our clothes. And if we had to make our own clothes, we'd be hosed. Sorry, that we would be freak.
I'm
That,
pretty sure we can figure it out.
right? Why did you guys all start wearing towels?
Patchwork clothes.
Right?
Most of the masks people are wearing are coming from China or India or Indonesia. And
Right.
The health standards that I've seen in those mask sweatshops are not that. It's just funny.
Right.
But I also, okay, so I'm not sure because it doesn't say. But I thought about like the dumbing down of culture today, and there's certain things that like my generation just doesn't know about.
Right on,
It gets
Maury.
worse and worse and worse. And I think that could be a possible element to it, you know? Like how do you not in such a labor force and the way that things were done, like not just have a blacksmith, like I don't know. It's because naturally you would want to if you could do the work yourself, but something has kept them from the ability of blacksmithery.
See, and I'm not thinking though. I'm thinking that it's not just a plain blacksmith. I'm thinking it's a weaponsmith because they have tools. They have iron tools, right? They have sharpen every man his share, his plowshare, his coulter, his axe, and his mattock.
But it said they go down to the Philistines to sharpen it. Essentially, they pay the Philistine
Oh yeah,
to do this work for them.
yep. Interesting.
It's a bit like asking like Russia or China to sell some bombs, isn't it?
Well, verse 21 though it says they had a file for the mattocks and for the coulters and for the forks and for the axes. Is that saying the Philistines had it?
Yeah, the ESV it says. So it says Israel went down to the Philistines to sharpen his plowshare, his mattock, his axe, or his sickle, and the charge was 2/3 of a shekel for the plowshares and for the mattock, and a third shekel for the axes. So it's just talking about how much the Philistines charged the Israelites to have their weapons sharpened, or not their weapons, their tools.
Yep. That's right, Alvina. Very much. If you think back to when they were
It's kind of weird.
in the wilderness, he said that they would be brought to a land where the hills will be, what was it? The hills will be covered with bronze or brass and can be digged of iron. So basically he's telling them, I'm taking you to a land also where you'll have all this other stuff and you'll be able to mine metal. But as we've gone over these past few books, they didn't kick the Philistines out or slaughter them completely, right?
Not very hard to sharpen tools.
No, it isn't.
So it is a little interesting that nobody there knew how to sharpen their tools.
Right. And I don't think maybe it's it could be the knowledge of it. But I think it was probably a weapons control thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the during Roman times, if you were caught with a sword, you would be executed.
What?
Or you could be executed. That depends on the would-be. Yep. Let's go to the 14. I didn't get any notes on this one.
Did you want to
Me
read it
either.
because it was about Jonathan, or because it was the longest one?
Yeah.
I starting in verse 1 with the second part where Jonathan doesn't tell his father what he's doing. I mean, you're starting to see things just already unravel. His son, who's got his own garrison, is already doing things without his father knowing about it.
Yep.
That
It's a great point.
That's
Saul's hanging out with the pomegranate.
I'm sorry?
I said Saul's just hanging out with the pomegranates.
Right?
Not blame him.
Yeah. And how do you, I like, man, his armor bearer.
Yeah.
Hey, man, whatever you want to do, I'm with you. I got your back, bro. I mean,
Right.
sir. If you want to go up, let's go up. If you don't, okay. We'll have the pomegranate.
Let's see.
Right. Yep. Yeah. That's pretty amazing, though.
Yeah, it's loyalty. It's hard to find these days.
Right?
Okay.
Trying to remember, I wrote word 6 down. I'm trying to remember what I had in my head when I wrote that down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I noticed they. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I noticed they all hid themselves in the sharp rock, flinty rock. They even had names for them, for those little hiding places.
Right, in verse 4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's pretty wild.
It is. Yeah, I noticed when I was reading it, they mentioned that there, Colby, the last clause of verse 6, for there's no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. So he's putting it all right on, right there on the
Yeah.
Father.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if we're 10,000 or 1.
Well, I think it comes back down to, clearly he didn't tell his father. I mean, you look at the, chapter before where Saul was clearly, doing the things he shouldn't be doing. But then, he wasn't waiting on Samuel. He was kind of, going rogue himself. And I think Jonathan, maybe he just saw the writing on the wall and decided to, put his trust in God right there rather than waiting for his father to do what needs to be, what needed to be done.
Yeah, that's
He even goes in there and he says, look, if they say, what was it? Behold, we will cross over. It says, if they say, wait until we come to you, then they'll stay in their place. But if they say, come up to us, that's a sign that, basically we have victory.
Right.
So as soon as he said that, then let's go.
Yep.
And then him and his armor bearer kick butt.
Yep. And then the Philistines start fighting each other.
Yeah.
Praise Yah, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Earthquake.
Yeah. Another earthquake. Yeah.
Do you think where you mentioned that the rock crag had names, you think that's like them big underground like cities that they have in different spots in the world? Like they're built like into the, I forget the name of, I'm sure I could Google it real quick. They have there's 2 or 3 cities in different parts of
Ozarks.
Sir?
Like the Ozarks? Or are you talking about ancient?
No, they've been long abandoned. But they're like in the rock and they're big. They're multi levels. It looks like an ant, like the way that ants like go have different levels and different.
Yeah. There's a city in Turkey that's like that. on the side
Right.
of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Petra in Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Petra in Jordan, where they have chairs where the seating surface is like 8 feet tall
Right.
and the doors are
Similar.
20 feet tall.
Right.
Yeah, but they didn't have any big people there. I'm not going to go through the hassle of making a chair that big. You know, it's not like it's Oklahoma on the side of the freeway.
Itchasar,
Makes
Turkey.
you wonder how they carved those out.
Well, if they were big people,
Yeah.
it'd be like a normal thing for them. I don't know.
Yeah, the one is called the Darren QU, and it's in Turkey, and it's got level after level after at least.
You got a photo?
Yeah, but I can't share my screen. Yeah, DERINKUYU.
Darren Kukui?
Erin Kuyu?
And they got pictures of the
Thank you.
city, and then they have
Oh,
pictures of how vast it is, how big
Can
it
you
is.
share that, Lynn?
I don't know.
Should have a
I
little
have it.
room for screen share.
Let's see. Screen share. Okay.
While you're looking for that, I pictured these rocks like. Well, Matt, you've been up there, up around Cochise Stronghold in the Chiricahuas,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have certain areas that have different names, like Council Rock, where they used to hold all the tribal elders, would hold meetings, and then there's other rocks where all
There it is.
the women kicked back and shared, or grinding corn and stuff.
Yep.
Can you all
They're
see
still
it?
there today.
Not yet.
Oh my gosh, I can see it on mine.
Did you hit the screen share part?
Yeah. Share your screen application Chrome tab. Wait. Oh, there it is.
We didn't rehearse this, everybody.
No, we didn't. Okay, can you see it now?
There we go.
Yay, I did it. Woohoo. So
Oh.
that's crazy.
That is kind of crazy. See stuff like that, it reminds me of the catacombs under like Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing creepy here. Move along.
Yep. Oh, look. Sewer drainage.
No, it's okay. We
Okay.
have electricity now. Yeah. All right.
Hey, 2 things on my computer today.
That's interesting, Lynn.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to the Grand Canyon.
Random.
They let us know.
Yeah, they closed off the entire Egyptian part of it.
Well, they don't
Yeah.
want you to find all those burial tombs in the caves and stuff. And
Yep.
the fact that was a big strip mining operation.
Well, they used to be able to fly anywhere you wanted in the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
And then
And you used to be able to take your donkeys anywhere.
they banned all that.
Really? You can't fly over it now?
You have to fly a certain route over the Grand Canyon. You can't go all cowboy.
And so if you get down there in the bottom where that tribe is it Tubac?
Havasupai.
Havasupai, yeah. They know a lot of stuff. They know a lot of stuff that goes on down there. So
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they do. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that when they found all that Egypt stuff there, that never hit the mainstream news. So that doesn't fit the narrative.
Right. Well, the thing. when you're driving in the Southwest.
Yeah, what is that?
You see these,
Thing.
you see these billboards for the thing. What is it? Yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff.
All the way from Mexico or New Mexico.
Yeah, all the way from
Those
Texas.
signs
We
are-
got it advertised like in El Paso too.
It's on I-40, isn't it?
No, it's
So
right outside of
what
Wilcox.
is the thing?
Okay, that's right. Okay, that's the other. Okay, I was thinking of.
But it's got. They allegedly have a mummy that came out of the Grand Canyon.
Mhm.
But because of the Smithsonian and other entities like universities that work with the Smithsonian saying, hey, we'll take it back to our place and study it, and then going, what mummy?
Right.
You know,
Well,
we
I-
ask for it back, they won't let anybody look at it. So therefore, they can say, oh, well, they won't let anyone look at it. It's a hoax.
Well, they have found those really interesting Egyptian hieroglyphs in Bryce Canyon along the walls that are very high up there. And so we think that was Tutankhamun's cousin that came over here to the Americas. And that's what they were doing over here. Mining.
So the thing is in Wilcox?
Yeah, it's right. It's just west of Wilcox. Right.
And it's
right
it's a
after.
mummy?
It's just east of Texas Canyon and right west of Wilcox. I'm sorry, what?
And what is it? It's a mummy?
Well, they got
in
all
like a
kinds of
museum?
stuff. The centerpiece attraction is the mummy.
Oh, okay.
That's
Interesting.
right. That's exactly what their tagline. That's their tagline. What is it?
Yeah, well, that's what all those billboards say.
Right.
What is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
They had to spend literally thousands on billboards. They're everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. I can see those billboards in my mind,
Yeah.
but I can't see the road in my mind.
Right. Okay. Here we go. You'll like this. Oh, that's a horrible picture. Let me find
You pull up a picture of it. It's so embarrassing.
that.
I mean, come on, Arizona, you could do better.
Well, there's one spot of New Mexico when I was coming back that it was a sign every 50 yards for like 2 hours.
For the thing.
It's like, man, yeah. Yeah, it's like, this is ridiculous. So me and Jared were like, I wonder what that is.
So
Oh, yes, there it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll see
Yep.
Every
My
sign
trip-
says something different too.
My
Yep.
trip back to coming back from Georgia and stuff. That sign.
Right. So here
The
is
thing.
There it is. Yep.
So it's a mummy that they found in the Grand Canyon.
I think that's what the story behind it is. Yeah. Then they get like a giant spider and stuff.
Those are still out here.
No, it's like way bigger than that.
Yeah. In fact, those giant spiders are getting ready for their migration.
Right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The thing.
The
But
thing.
I tell you, when there's like 10,000 signs, it really makes you wonder what it is. I was like, man, maybe it's a dinosaur.
It's like a sideshow, you know?
Yeah, that's what it
Giant
reminded me of
whale.
the
You have
Jurassic
the-
Park thing.
Bearded lady, right?
In fact,
Real
I think that one of the
dinosaur.
signs is like a velociraptor on the side of it.
It's true. It's true.
All right. We got anything else on 14? Other than Saul wanted to kill Jonathan, and Israel was like, no, you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to kill Jonathan.
Mm. It's interesting. I was thinking about the ambition of him saying, "Cursed be anyone that eat of the honey," and yet when Jonathan tasted the honey, he was enlightened by it. And I don't know. It's interesting. I don't.
Well, it comments also, we get a commentary there about how Jonathan wasn't there for the oath.
Mhm.
Right.
Where was that?
Right. How do you hold somebody accountable? That's the other thing. How do you
Right,
hold somebody?
verse 27.
Yeah.
Right, and I can totally see that. Like, you've done any really big, really heavy-duty athletic stuff, like doing long bicycle rides or something, when you totally run out of all possible glycogen in your body, and then you take just a little bit of sugar, like instantaneously you're at 100% again. It's a really strange phenomenon. So I imagine that's what happened here with Jonathan eating that honey, because it says his eyes were opened.
Like to
Mine
me,
says
that
his
sounds
eyes
like,
were brightened.
yeah, that's what, like they started to sparkle and he felt better. And
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep honey on hand for whenever I get tired.
You need that for first aid. You need to just carry a big vat of that on your belt.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from 14?
Yeah, the last verse I found interesting. So at the end it says, and when Saul saw any strong man or any valiant man, he attached himself to him.
Right.
So
Yep.
okay, so can we go back?
Yeah.
To like chapter 32, and they were killing the animals and they were just eating them raw, weren't they? I mean,
In verse 32.
With the blood.
yeah. And Saul's like, no, bring it here and don't do that, and bring it all here and we'll do it here.
Yep.
So they were eating the blood, and
We know that's talking about the blood that's like not in the meat, but it would have to have been the blood.
The liquid blood.
Yeah. So what were they like drinking that and eat? I mean, doesn't make
Or was
sense. That's
and
pretty
threw
gross.
them on the ground, and the people did eat them with the blood.
What? It's a good Southern gravy, man. What are you talking about?
Blood pudding. Let's have some.
nope.
I kind of thought of it like they were just stabbing them and not even like cooking it. I mean, I
Oh,
guess
like who is that? The Watusi? Did they do that?
so hungry just immediately.
That's what I'm getting. That they just
The
killed
Messiah.
them and started.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Yeah, grossness. Ew.
Eating with the blood. Huh. Okay, thanks for letting us rewind.
You're welcome. All right. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining us today. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope that everybody here got something out of it. Thank you very much, Colby and Landon and Lynn and Matt for drinking with us today, for actually drinking the water of life with us today. Reading, that is. And everybody, if you would, share these readings, these studies with other people. We're putting it out there because there's a lot of people that just don't read scripture, and we want to be able to stop the falsehoods that are coming out of pulpits and I don't know what you would call that, secular mythology of the Bible. So let's end that. Help us to end that. Just share, if you would. Copy and share. All right. Anyways, love you all. Thank you very much. And we will see you in 2 days' time. Bye.